Hi there. My name is Hayden Applebee. I am the captain and the president of Oklahoma State Quidditch. My primary position is chaser. I'm also a head referee when we go to official tournaments. I guess you could say, most exciting position are chaser and keeper. Chasers wear a white headband and keepers wear a green headband. Keepers on defense, they defend the hoops, kind of like a goalie in soccer. And chasers, they're more of like a point defender. They can tackle people. They're man on, like a cornerback in football. Both positions use quaffle, which is a slightly deflated volleyball because we don't want it to bounce everywhere that hard. So just enough to get a good grip on it. Obviously, people, if they have bigger hands, a little bit more of an advantage. But yeah, we use this. This is the ball that we use. As soon as it passes through the hoop, then the defending team is who got scored on. The team on offense, they get 10 points. So as soon as the ball passes through the hoop, it becomes dead, and then the keeper has to go get it, and then it becomes live again, and then that team can go score with the quaffle. So kind of like how basketball, if you get a goal, then the ball's dead, then the other team gets to reset it and then start their offense. The most disruptive position is the beater. They wear a black headband and they carry a bludger, which is a slightly deflated dodgeball, or like a schoolyard kickball. We use this, and they'll run around, and all they do is they hit people with it. And once that person is beat, they have to follow the knockout procedure, which they have to dismount their broom and run back to their hoops and touch their hoops with their hand before they can do anything else. So if I'm carrying the quaffle and I'm running for a goal, and the enemy team beats me, I have to drop the ball, dismount my broom, and run all the way back before I can even try to do anything else. So their primary objective is to just disrupt everything they can for the other team. One of the most important positions, some people call it the most important position, is the seeker. They get to wrestle around with the human snitch, who has a snitch tail about 10 to 12 inches long on the backside. It's usually velcroed onto a pair of shorts, right onto the elastic. They basically have to wrestle around them, and they can't pull them, they can't tackle them, they can't really hinder the snitch in any way physically. So they have to basically get around any wrestling defense he has and then try to grab the tail. And as soon as you do grab the tail, then your team gets 30 points and the game is over. So just a general guideline for rules. The game has a game flow a lot like basketball. Back and forth, up and down a court, we call it the pitch, from hoop to hoop. There's a bunch of physicality though as well. It's kind of like rugby in the fact that you can just tackle people, and we don't wear any padding of any kind usually. So there's no engagement from behind. If I'm behind anybody and I hit him in the back, that's an immediate yellow card. So we can't have any of that. No head, neck, or groin contact, anything below the knee. So you can't just go in and grab somebody's ankles for a tackle. Everything has to be below the neck and above the kneecaps. And that's where you can wrap them up, you can drive them to the ground, you can pull them down, you can spin them down, anything you want to. You can just get in front of them. If somebody's in the air trying to catch a ball and you get hit, that's a defenseless receiver, kind of how I think it's in the NFL or in the NCAA, I don't know. But in football, sometimes they have a defenseless receiver calling. That's also a thing in Quidditch. But for beaters and chasers, all the physicality is the same, also keepers as well. A lot of the physicality is basically the same because those rules really help just keep people safe. If we had somebody running in just trucking people from behind, then obviously people would get hurt. So along with the rules, there are penalties for Quidditch. The most one that is given is a yellow card. A yellow card means that your player has to go into the penalty box for 1 minute. So it's kind of like a power play in hockey. If you get 2 yellow cards, then both those yellow cards turn into a red card, and you have to leave the pitch, and you cannot play for the rest of the game. You're now out of the game, basically an ejection, and you have to have a sub take your spot in the penalty box for 2 minutes solid. So with a yellow card, there's also a blue card. It's similar to a yellow card. It's just not as harsh, I should say, because you can get as many blue cards as you get in a game, and they don't stack. So if I get 5 blue cards, it doesn't mean anything. I can still play the whole game. But if I get 2 yellow cards, then I now have a red card, and now I can't play in the game. A straight red is something very egregious and bad that happened. A common straight red is a defenseless receiver call. Somebody was jumping up in the air to catch a ball, and somebody just completely destroys them and trucks through them before they catch the ball. That is a straight to red defenseless receiver red card, and they have to leave. They're ejected from the game. They have to leave the pitch immediately, and they have to have a sub serve in the penalty box for 2 minutes. All these cards really help the referee control the pace of the game and don't let it get out of hand. And that's basically the biggest thing, not letting a game get out of hand for safety reasons. So obviously the object of any game is to win. So in Quidditch, the primary way to do that is to run up the score on your opponent so that they are out of snitch range, since the snitch is worth 30 points. So the biggest thing to do that is there are 3 hoops. A medium hoop, a tall hoop, and a small hoop. They're all the same amount of points. They're all 10 points. The reason that they are different size, obviously, is based upon the novel, but it also adds a degree of difficulty for any keeper that is trying to guard those hoops. Because if somebody takes a shot at any of those hoops, they have to know that there's different height levels for each hoop that they need to block from. A real big offensive strategy is to let your beaters run in and take the other beaters out. And then all the other team has is chasers, and they can try to tackle you. Most of the time they're not going to work though, because a one-on-one tackling situation is really hard for the defense. So that's a big thing we do. We let our beaters disrupt the whole defense, and then we'll charge in and drive in basically for an alley-oop or a dunk. Alley-oop is just a quick pass, kind of like in basketball. You get a quick pass, and your teammate catches it and spikes it right through the hoop as immediately as they catch it. Since the snitch is worth 30 points, if you're ahead more than 30 points, if you're ahead 40 to 100 points, some teams are more than that, then the other team cannot catch the snitch without making them lose the game automatically. So if you get ahead in points like that, that's the biggest way to win, because then you can slow down your offense a little bit and try to just catch the snitch to win the game. So we've gone over the other equipment with the bludger and the quaffle and the hoops, and then the snitch tail that's worn by the human snitch. So that's really the bulk of the equipment we use. But a big part of Quidditch is having to do everything one-handed. And what I mean by that is we have to ride a broom, not a house bristle broom. But we use sturdy, regular Schedule 40 PVC pipe. That way it doesn't break or snap anytime there's a tackle or any kind of a collision. You do have to ride it, and basically the easiest way to do it is just keep one hand on it the whole time while you're mounted. And that allows you to do everything one-handed, and you're never going to fall off your broom. Because as soon as your broom drops onto the ground, you're dismounted and you have to run back to your hoops and tag back in. So you can let go of it. You don't have to hold your hand on it the whole time. What we practice here at OSU is letting go of the broom and just kind of pinching it with your legs and catching the ball with 2 hands. It's an easy way to secure the ball really quickly, but it still adds a degree of difficulty because if you're on the move at all, you have to jump in the air, or you have to try to run kind of awkwardly while you're holding the broom between your legs. But the biggest thing is tackling. The specific rule is you're not even allowed to wrap with 2 hands when you tackle. So you do have to hold your broom and only use one arm to tackle, which is a huge just wrench in the cogs of any kind of football, tackling, rugby sport that I've ever played in my life. So, those are the rules and the gameplay and the equipment of Quidditch. It's a really fun sport, and I really appreciate your guys' interest in it, and I hope that we can recruit some people. Come out here for any kind of practice you want.